In this video, we'll give you one pitcher and one hitter you must avoid on every team in the American League East. I'm Alan Seslowsky along with Jeff Erickson from RotoWire.com. Let's start with the Baltimore Orioles. Who's going to be the pitcher that you're trying to avoid in drafts?
The pitcher I'm not paying price for is Felix Bautista. Nothing against Bautista's skills. I think he's fantastic, but he's hurt. You know, he got a slow start to spring training. And I also think Baltimore is going to be one of those teams with a manager that likes to leverage high leverage situations with their best reliever. So he won't always be used as a closer. But it's enough of me to avoid taking him in the first 10 rounds of a draft, which means I'm not going to get him. Nothing against the pitcher. I think he's fantastic, but I think he should be drafted closer to the likes of like Andres Munoz and Paul Sewald and Pete Fairbanks than he is among that top tier of closers.
Who's the Baltimore hitter that you just don't like the price on right now?
Austin Hayes. And I think there's a possibility that Austin Hayes is not the starting left fielder by the second half of the season. He's stagnated a little bit. He will be their starter to begin the year. He just hasn't advanced. You know, turning Baltimore into Waldemore hurt him a lot. I think he, especially in terms of power, 719 OPS last year. That's just, what does he do? I want to try to find people that have possibility for growth in either power or speed, and I don't think he does in either.
Red Sox pitchers. I know it's a tough question, but which one of them that's going a little bit too soon for you?
Pretty much all of them. But Chris Sale is the one I'm going to just highlight here. I think there's the idea of Chris Sale who could be an ace and be like a top 10 pitcher. And then there's the practicality of the situation there where, you know, he has thrown so little over the last 3 years. You have to expect some setbacks. He's going at a reasonable price, like about pick 150 now. I'm just not going to do it though. You know, there are injured pitchers and there are injury prone pitchers. And usually I kind of dismiss the term prone, but I think it applies here in Sale.
Which one of the Red Sox hitters where every time they get drafted, you're like, thank God it wasn't me?
I don't know if that's saying it too strong, Alan. You're framing the question, making me this evil monster. No, Rafael Devers is someone I'm just not paying the price for. I think that there's a little bit of power downside. I know he just got paid, and that's good. Good for him. I'm happy for him. Sometimes players who just get a new contract either press to try to justify it or just slump in their first year. And I just think the Red Sox lineup around him is not as good. So say you've got the choice between Devers and Austin Riley, the Braves third baseman. I'm going to take Riley every time because the team context is so much better. I think it's a slightly better ballpark to hit in, and the lineup around him is, you know, orders of magnitude better than the Red Sox lineup. Red Sox quietly do not have a good lineup this year.
You've done a bunch of drafts so far in the season, and which one of the Yankee pitchers just never ends up on any of your teams?
Luis Severino. And, you know, it's funny. He's about the only Yankee. I struggle to find a Yankee pitcher. Even Severino's not that far away, but the injury risk, the risk of him not throwing a whole complement of innings, the possibility of him like throwing for lower velocity, if he loses a mile an hour off his fastball, there could be some trouble there. Makes me kind of worry about him. So I'm probably not going to, you know, I might have gotten an early share of him, but I'm not going to get a whole lot of them anymore.
Before we talk about which Yankee batter you're not taking at ADP, is Arron Judge worth the first overall pick in drafts?
I think he could be. You know, a lot of player raters put him at first, but he doesn't seem to go first that often. Probably because I think people are doubting the speed, or not the speed, but the, you know, stolen bases. You know, he's gotten paid now too. So maybe he doesn't have that whole contract year thing. I think durability still got to be a question mark for Judge. But I took him at 5 overall. I took him in the first round. I think he's in that. I think there's a clear top 5, and he belongs in that group. And whether you want to put him at 1 or 5, I mean, I don't think there's a huge sea change difference. Obviously, they do different things, and they could have widely variant results. But right now, he's in that tier. He's in that pack.
Okay, once you get into the meat of the draft, though, which Yankee hitter are you not taking?
Gleyber Torres. What does Gleyber Torres do? I always ask this question every year. You know, especially now that Baltimore is not this home run haven, and he had that 1 year where with Happy Fun Ball in Baltimore where he killed it. He's already dinged up a little bit. He bounced back okay last year. Had 24 homers. I mean, that's better. The Yankees have players coming up. Oswald Cabrera. They've got Anthony Volpe. I don't think he's necessarily part of their long-term plan. So I kind of look at him as someone that I'd rather get out in front of not having this year.
Tampa pitchers. There's a bunch of good ones, but which one is going a little bit ahead of where you want them?
Every once in a while, Alan, I have to take the layup. And in this case, that's Tyler Glasnow. I'm not going to take an injured pitcher heading into my drafts. Maybe if I get an extreme discount in a league where you have IL spots, fine.
What's an extreme discount? What round would he have to go in order for you to be automatic?
I would say it'd have to be something like pick 200 or so.
And where's he going?
Well, it's changing. It's a changing target. So we're still trying to figure out what his true ranges he's going to settle in at. And I've seen him go still around 110. I've seen him go closer to 200. I don't like having to draft a currently injured player. I've done it before. I did it with Tatis last year. Guess what? He never played. So it didn't work out so well. So I don't think I'm going to do it that often.
Which Rays hitter are you staying away from that you see a lot of other people moving towards?
So, man, this one could come back to bite me. I'm really taking a chance here, and it's Wander Franco. Average pick in the RotoWire Online Championship is at 83. And with Wander Franco, I think he's the classic better in real life than fantasy type of player. Great batting eye, but doesn't hit for a ton of power yet. Doesn't steal a ton of bases yet. He did go 8 for 8 at the end of the season last year, and that's where this could really bite me. So he could be a top 20 player, but I think he's going to end up being like a top 120 when you're paying 83 for him.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the Jays here in Toronto. Which pitcher that you just don't seem to be getting in any of the drafts you're doing because you just don't like the price right now?
Well, this one kind of hurts because Chris Bassett's been someone that's been very good to me over the years. Whether it was with the A's, where he was really discounted every year because of the team context, or even last year with the Mets. Guy that takes the ball, gets a lot of innings. However, he puts the ball a little bit in the air too much for my liking. Toronto is messing around with their dimensions, moving him in some places, moving the ball higher in some places. But I'm a little nervous about Chris Bassett this year, Alan, and I don't think I'm going to get him in a lot of places. ADP is around 160 or so. You know, if you wanted to go with the more obvious avoid, I'd say Jose Barrios is another one I'd avoid. And I haven't been paying the price for Kevin Gausman yet either. So I have choices here in this category.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see which Toronto hitter you've been avoiding at ADP.
It's hard. This is the one maybe I struggled with the most. I'm saying George Springer, but I'm only like 10 picks off of his ADP, at least off of his roundtable rankings that we did on RotoWire. I was trying to find where am I a low man? It's like, no, I like him. Nope, like him. Nope, like him. I mean, I could go Whit Merrifield, but no, Springer. It's only because there are others in the range that I've been taking over. Like I've been taking Eloy Jimenez over George Springer. Springer might run a little bit more. He did last year, but prior to that, he hadn't been running a whole lot. So I'm just going for pure power upside, and I like Eloy a little bit better than Springer, and I like batting average with Eloy a little bit better than Springer.
If you enjoy videos like this, consider hitting the like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notifications when we put up new video content every week. And right now, you can check out RotoWire's prospect rankings and premium content for free. Just go to rotowire.com/try. And to see the rest of the videos in this must draft, must avoid series, we've linked them all in the video description below.